Hi, this is Jeff Curto, and welcome to episode number 80 of Camera Position, a podcast about the creative side of photography. Well, rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated. I am so sorry to have been away for so long. A very busy summer, a very busy summer in a variety of ways. Personally busy, professionally busy, photographically busy, and I want to just thank everybody for your support. I've had a lot of emails asking me if I'm okay, and in fact, I am okay and back in front of the microphone and happy to be here. So I wanted to continue on our photographer's roadmap, the project planning roadmap, and talk about managing your content and managing your assets. And this will likely take us a few episodes to kind of get through. But for those of you who are simply filing away your pictures in shoe boxes, if they're physical images, negatives or prints or transparencies, or for those of you who are shooting digitally and are taking your images and just putting them in random folders, this podcast and subsequent podcasts are for you to talk about managing your content, managing the assets that we create as photographers. You know, imagine what a library would be like without organized shelves for books and other materials that have the same general category, or without some sort of catalog to keep track of where and what those materials are. You know, if we give enough time and energy, we'd be able to find the things we want, but obviously a good structure makes it a lot easier. And all the planning in the world won't make any difference if you can't find the work that you're making. You know, if you can plan out a project all you want, but ultimately you need to be able to find it and find the work, find the photographs that are the ones that you want. Keeping track of the work, both as you are producing it and in post-production, is an important part of the process of a project. Just as it takes planning to get the work made, it takes planning to keep the work organized. It's also important to remember that just like money that you earn or possessions that you acquire, the work that you create has a great deal of value. And it might just have personal or sentimental value to you, but obviously it also may have financial value to you. And that means it's worth protecting against damage and loss, and that takes some planning. So, where and how do you keep your photographs? Do you have an organized set of boxes or a disjointed pile of prints? If you have your photographs stored in boxes, is the box material appropriate for storing them, or is it damaging your images minute by minute? Are your digital files all stored on one hard drive, or do you have duplicates of them on other media in other places? What would happen to any of your images in digital or physical images in case of a catastrophic event like a fire or a hard drive crash? Planning a sound storage and backup strategy is just as important as planning the work that you want to make. If you make it and you can't find it, it's pretty much the same thing as not having made it in the first place. So, physical storage of materials. Photographic negatives and prints, prints from negatives or from digital files, should be stored in materials that are free from acids that can destroy the film or the paper or the emulsion. Depending on how you work, you'll probably want to have different containers for different projects, different bodies of work, or for the year the work was created. These containers should be kept in a place that's cool and dry because heat and moisture are bad for photographic materials. And of course, they should be easily accessible in case of some sort of catastrophic event, fire or flood. Storing things in the basement in an area where your basement floods pretty frequently is probably not the best strategy. Some photographers store their most valuable physical assets in a safe deposit box or in some other off-site storage facility. Negatives and transparencies should be stored in polypropylene sleeves. These are chemically inert and will help your film archive last as long as possible. This, of course, presumes that you or someone else has processed and washed the film properly. Prints should be stored in boxes or sleeves or envelopes that are created out of acid-free materials. These can be fancy portfolio cases or simple boxboard boxes, but the common factor will be that their insides, which come in contact with the images, will be made of material that is certified archival, which means that it will be free of acids. That's the general sort of strategy with archival material, free of acids that can eat at and destroy paper and photographic emulsions and even cause inks to fade. There are a number of sources for some of these storage materials. I'll put links to them on the cameraposition.com blog page. But among the most common are B&H Photo, Calumet Photographic, Light Impressions, lightimpressionsdirect.com, as well as Archival Methods. And I'll put links to these resources online for you to be able to access them. Well, whether you create images with film or digital cameras, it's likely that you have some digital files that you need to store. And here's where things become a little bit more complicated, though the storage materials are quite a bit different. The process of storing digital files isn't terribly unlike the process of storing physical photographs. The main similarity is that you need to spend some money and time to protect the things that you have made and that have value to you. Like it or not, you have to store digital assets on physical material like hard drives, CDs, or DVDs. Like physical images, we have to think about the archival viability of the storage container that we're putting these images on, and we have to think about where those containers are kept. Unlike physical images, though, there are two big issues with digital files, one good and one bad. The good news is that it's easy to create exact duplicates of digital files, something we can't easily do with physical images. This means that backing up a hard drive is relatively easy, provided we have storage space available. The bad news is that there is no perfect archival storage medium for digital files. Hard drives, CDs, and DVDs all have a finite lifespan, and they can't really be counted on 100%. The question is not whether your digital storage media will fail, but when. And, everybody out there, raise your hand if you've had a hard drive fail. I'm raising mine because they do fail. It's just magnetism, folks, right? So this means you have to plan ahead for the very real possibility that your media will fail, usually when you least want it to. If you have all of your digital files on one storage device, like your computer's hard drive, and no alternate storage location, you are, in fact, flirting with disaster. Fortunately, the cost of storing digital files has come down quite a bit in recent years. External hard drive storage has dropped in terms of dollars per gigabyte, and CDs and DVDs are inexpensive ways of storing data as well. There's a difference in the quality of recordable materials like CDs and DVDs, and the more expensive gold discs are, according to most people, most experts, are probably worth the extra cost for long-term storage. If you don't use that type of disc, it's a good idea to re-record the new disc every 2 or 3 years, as age is a factor with burnable materials like these. For hard drives, it is usually use of the drive, reading and writing data, and physical trauma like dropping or jostling the drive that cause them to fail, so keeping disks offline and safely stored can help minimize problems. So if you have an archive of images that is on a removable hard drive, backing up to that hard drive once a week, once a month, whatever, and then unplugging the thing and putting it on a shelf so that it is not constantly spinning, not constantly being used, is a really great idea. Though they are really nothing more than remote hard drives, online storage options can offer an alternative for some people's storage problems. If you have a web presence, it's likely that you're not using all of your available storage space, so that might be an option. Many internet service providers offer their customers storage space as well. There are also many commercial services that sell online storage. Do a search for online backup to start looking at various options that are available. One of the main advantages of online storage is that most service providers have a variety of redundancy features built in, so it's less likely that a disaster of some sort will take all of your data with it. Of course, the dilemma there is that there is a sort of speed factor that uploading and downloading images from an internet service provider is going to take quite a bit longer than simply copying to a hard drive. And although you're storing digital files, you're still storing them on physical materials, so if you're using things like hard drives or CDs or DVDs, you might want to think about protecting them against things like fire, flood, and theft by storing your most valuable materials at some sort of off-site location. And personally, I've been very satisfied using hard drives, multiple hard drives, because their cost has come down so low and their speed is so much higher than using things like DVDs and CDs. CDs become a lot less effective as our file sizes get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I have found that not only having multiple drives within my desktop computer box, and I have a Mac Pro Tower that has 4 drive bays in it and allows me to have some redundancy there, but also using offline storage of removable hard drives, removable FireWire or USB hard drives, to be able to store images offline and literally unplug those drives once I've backed up to them and put them away. One of the things that has happened, I think, with a lot of our images is that we have this sense, especially with digital photography, that we want to have access to those files all the time. 100% of the time, 100% of the files. Now, of course, pictures that I shot 4, 5, 6 years ago do not have nearly the same value to me in terms of what I need to do with them right now as pictures that I shot this past month or this past week or this past few months. So being able to archive older work off onto removable drives, and multiple removable drives at that, has a tremendous amount of value. What we'll look at in the next episode of Camera Position is we'll take a look at software packages, predominantly Lightroom and Aperture, that allow us not only to archive images offline, but also allow us to be able to look at low-resolution images of archived materials, even if they are not on our physical hard drive that we're looking at right now. So we'll take a look at Lightroom and Aperture in subsequent episodes of Camera Position. Also, just because I've had a lot of inquiries already, we have set dates for the spring 2010 workshop in Italy. In fact, we're doing 2 separate workshops, one brief one in Rome, from June 2nd to June 5th, and then from June 5th to June 12th will be in Tuscany. So details are being worked out, costs and exact details are all being worked out, and they should be available soon. But keep your eye peeled for more information about this, and take a look at photographitaly.com, www.photographitaly.com, for more information. Thanks, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Camera Position, a podcast about the creative side of photography. Camera Position is a proud member of the Photocast Network, your photo resource in the potosphere. photocastnetwork.com